Who else is on here? Do we know?
And so now we are recording. And I'll just recap that a quorum being present on the evening of Wednesday, April 12th, we've called the meeting to order. Before we proceed with our regular schedule of hearings, I'd like to welcome Steve Kohler, who was just recently appointed by the Select Board to be our 7th member. So Steve, you are filling a vacancy that's been open for 3 years. We welcome you and thank you for your service.
Yeah, welcome.
And Steve, you are muted.
No, he's also, okay, he's good now.
Okay. So, that being said, we will proceed with the first continuation. The Bellingham Conservation Commission will hold public hearings in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act, General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Bellingham Wetlands Protection Bylaw on the notice of intent for the proposal to construct a commercial building with associated stormwater management system located within a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands at Assessor's Map 4, Parcel 72, 455 Hartford Avenue, Bellingham. Mitch Masalenka, Goddard Consulting, Northborough, Mass. has submitted the filing on behalf of Moshe Tyus, Darn Properties, Milford, Mass. The continuations will be held online via the Zoom option on Wednesday, April 12th at 7. At the applicant's request, we are going to continue this hearing. And this hearing has been going on for some length of time since August of last year. Hopefully, they'll be able to address the planning board issues that are outstanding. And that's why I'll entertain a motion to continue this hearing to the evening of June 4th at 7.
So moved.
Neil.
Second.
Is that, oh, Mike, okay.
Second, yes, hello.
Yeah, hello, okay. I think that we have few enough people that I can recognize everyone's vote. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? In that case, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Steve, you're muted.
Aye.
Ah, we got you. Okay.
His first historic vote.
There you go.
And what I said earlier is thank you for having me. Much appreciated. Obviously, I'll do my best. And any help getting me up to speed would be greatly appreciated.
We have some strategies for that, Steve. And, you know,
Keeping your Saturdays open is a good idea.
Yeah.
The space bar short is supposed to mute and unmute, but I guess it wasn't working.
Okay, we need nays. We voted ayes. Are there any nays?
Are there any, there's no one opposed. It was a unanimous vote.
Okay,
I heard all of you. I
okay,
heard all the folks talking.
all right, super. All right, so. Yeah,
Okay. So we will now move to open this next hearing. And I believe that this will be the first hearing that Steve will be able to vote on. The Bellingham Conservation Commission will hold public hearing in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act, General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Bellingham Wetlands Protection Bylaw on the notice of intent for the proposed construction of a 2-car detached garage and rain garden located within a 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands and in the outer riparian area on Assessor's Map 9, Lot 5173, Standish Road, Bellingham. Margaret Bacon, Civil Site Engineering, Uxbridge, Mass. has submitted the filing on behalf of Cliff Ansell, 73 Standish Road, Bellingham. The hearing will be held online via the Zoom option on Wednesday, April 12th at 7:05.
That's Mark.
And I see
Margaret?
All set?
Margaret is here. Hi.
Okay, you want me to give a brief description?
Yeah, Noel, would you let Margaret?
Sure thing.
Thank you.
Can you lower this thing? So I can see who's there.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Very good. Very good.
You want me to go ahead?
Please.
Okay, do you want, just for the record, Margaret Bacon, Civil Site Engineering, and I'm here with, and I believe my client Cliff Ansell is also here in the audience. Do you want me to do the share screen?
Yes, I think you should be good to go.
Okay. Okay, everybody see that okay?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Okay, so this is for a proposed garage right here. Which is in the 50-foot buffer zone is right here. And then we have the 100-foot buffer zone. The wetlands are to the rear of the property. We have the Charles River to the rear of the property. So we also have riverfront area. So here's the 100-foot riverfront and then the 200 riverfront. So we have the existing house and then the proposed garage. And we've in this area highlighted in red is the area of existing pavement to be partially removed. I did a net change in impervious area here. So the net change is there'll be an additional 840 square feet of additional pavement due to this job, and thus we created a little rain garden to help, infiltrate some of the excess runoff from the roof. So basically, I have the buffer zone impacts listed, the riverfront impacts there. And we pushed the garage as far away from the wetlands as we could. But as you can see right here, we're starting to run into the zoning offset line. So that's about as far up as we can get the proposed garage. So I believe the commission did go out on a site visit, and you may have some comments or concerns or questions.
Sure. Could you,
Okay.
Margaret, would you just enlarge that a little bit, please?
Yep. How's that? More?
A
More.
little more. There you go. Yeah, we want to fill that screen.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so for the record, anticipating a relatively simple project, the administrator and myself, the chair, went out to evaluate the site conditions and the accuracy of the wetland resource area. So we'll start with the simple stuff first. The wetland line was accurate. We had no problems with that. But what we did discover while we were out there is that in the past, material, brush, yard waste, leaves had been deposited right up to and potentially slightly into the wetland resource area. During our site inspection, we notified the property owner that that material would have to be removed. There was also a small area where pea stone had been deposited in the riparian zone. It was outside the resource area. And we were instructed that that area was that stone was going to be utilized during the construction processes. And we instructed the applicant to remove it immediately and store it in the yard until it can be utilized for construction. The next thing we found was that there was a knee wall that was constructed, and there was some grading that took place out to the riparian side, the river side of the knee wall, and that area is going to have to be that area is going to have to be returned to a natural state. That work was done without a permit, and we understand the purpose of it was to level off the yard, but that area is going to have to be returned to its normal state. What we're thinking is, loosen up the soil there and put in some wetland or buffer zone seed mix, possibly a mix of those things. The next thing we looked at was, and we're kind of working from the river front toward the house. The rain garden is a pretty good idea. And we think that the area where it's proposed might necessitate the cutting of some trees. And we're wondering if it's possible to shift that to the other side of the garage, to the bottom of to the right of the garage as you're driving in. I'm thinking that might be to the west. I don't see a north on this.
Kind of where that shed is?
Yep,
Yeah.
right where the shed is. Is that,
Okay,
I don't think that that'll be affected by your zoning offset because it's not a structure.
right. Yeah, I'll take a look at that. I can relocate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that would be really advantageous. We don't want to cut trees or disturb vegetation
Sure.
in the riverfront area.
Yep.
And then the final thing that I think that the applicant approached our administrator and asked about a fence and where the fence should be located. Whether the fence could be located, to the riverfront side below the wall or on the top of the wall. And I think that the fence would be better served for the commission's purposes to be on the top of the wall. That way we could allow the area that had been, altered during the construction of the wall to return to its natural state. And I think,
That area will have to be planted. Right?
yeah, what we're going to do, the area behind the wall.
Right.
Yeah, I think we
right.
talked about
Yeah.
the seed mix in the area behind the wall,
Yeah.
and we'll, on the fence, we'll post a few no disturb zone badges. In the event that the applicant were to sell the property and move out, subsequent property owners would understand that the area behind the fence is a no disturb zone, and there are prohibitions relative to dumping of yard waste, construction materials, building of swing sets, sheds, and like it'll all be in the permit.
We did have one other area that had some asphalt, I think that
It
was
was yep, you're
what
right.
was behind the shed.
Right in that area.
And I believe the property owner was certainly in agreement that he would remove that as well.
Okay,
So, we'll need a revision, and now I'm going to defer to the administrator here because I think that some of the work has already commenced in the cleanup.
Yes, so Mr. Ansel did come into my office yesterday, and he said that is very cooperative, and that he was already removing a lot of the debris that was the yard waste, the branches and so forth, plus the pile of pea stone that was out there. He and his grandson had done a lot of work doing that. So I think we're moving in the right direction as far as that is concerned.
Okay, well, I'll coordinate with Mr. Ansell
Mhm.
and I'll make these revisions.
Yeah.
Probably go back out to the site just to take another look,
Right?
make the changes, and we still haven't we haven't received the DEP file number yet anyways.
Yeah,
So I can take care of these revisions and get them to you before the next meeting.
that would be great.
That would be ideal.
Yeah,
In fact, if you, Margaret, if you were to contact DEP and tell them that we're moving forward, they might be amenable to issuing that before the next meeting.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, that would be ideal.
I think maybe perhaps in your revisions, Margaret, if you would suggest something they could use for seed mix.
Yep.
Or some kind of a protocol, some kind of
Sure.
methodology for reestablishing that disturbed riverfront, that would be great.
Yep, no problem.
Okay,
Okay,
Mr. Chair.
yes, Mike.
I got quick questions just to clarify a couple things. Margaret, when you mentioned in the beginning, if you scroll down to the bottom of your page there, the impervious area added, the notes at the bottom.
yeah,
I think you used 840 square feet, and then you said the words of pavement, but in fact, my quick look at the red areas, there's a net of like 75 square feet of pavement. The rest must be the garage, is that right?
the garage, the roof.
An impervious area, not just pavement. Okay, got it.
Correct, yeah.
That was true. Okay, the driveway, which way does it pitch, toward the road or towards the garage?
Well, actually, it comes a slight grade here, so you'll see I have a little grade line here, so I don't have water going into the garage.
Right,
So I created a little low point to keep water coming down the side.
yeah, that's fine. I just was a little concerned actually about things flowing down the road, going into the backyard, where it pitches down fairly sharply by the garage. I can see the new garage, going down towards the resource area. Just runoff from the road, oils and salts and things like that, that would be be an issue. Is there going to be any way to put even a berm at the end of the driveway? I mean, I'm sure it's not a very long driveway and it's not a steep pitch or anything, but something to slow down and stop and allow the runoff to infiltrate in, and salt and oil
Sure.
have to be captured in that area.
Yeah, we can create a little dissipator or something right here at the end of the driveway to help slow it down and settle out any sands.
Yeah, I didn't want to go crazy, but it's going towards the resource area, so I thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And then, in combination with the rain garden, I'll come up with something.
Right. The slope and the retaining wall, what's the height of the retaining wall?
It's about 2.5 feet,
Okay, so it's not much of it. And
maybe 3 feet.
Mr. Chair, you had mentioned the fence going across the top, which makes a lot of sense. I assume the wall's been there for a while. It's not brand new, right?
It's
What's not brand
the wall
I mean, I don't,
within probably a couple of years.
okay, so it's relatively new. It's probably in good shape. I was wondering what the condition of the wall was, if it had been.
No, it's relatively recent. Yeah.
So if we put the fence across the top where the L shape of the wall is, what happens beyond that to the right and the left, where we want to make sure that future property owners realize that the area behind the garage over to the edge of the property and the other way about towards the top of the plan there, the property line, are you going to drop it down, propose the fence continue? It's not going to just be within the black mark where the retaining wall is, right? For the fence.
That's where the resource is.
Well, that's where the resource area is.
Right, but I'm just saying, if we just stop it where the dark area is for the retaining wall, it's sort of, the resource area is above and beyond that too. If somebody just walks 2 feet to the left of the fence where it stops, they're beyond the edge of the retaining wall. It sort of slopes down around that area around.
Oh,
the
there's
edge.
a drop off there that's pretty significant.
Right, I was just wondering if we want to fence across that too, so that the understanding is across the top of the wall, yes, but there should be something on the ends to indicate that, yeah, you can't walk around the edges of it and just dump stuff. It's okay to the right and the left of the fence. For future property owners, I know the current property owners can be aware of it, but
Yeah, let me talk to Mr. Ansel, see, I know he talked about putting in a fence. I just don't know the extent of the fence he was gonna put it in, if it was gonna be across the whole backyard.
Well, we usually, I think, Mr. Chair, don't we usually just try to, it's not so much covering the whole backyard, it's making sure that the whole area between the property and future owners and the wet resource area is covered. And if the resource area stopped to the right or left of the fence, then, and the wall rather, I wouldn't be as concerned, but it seems like with the river and the resource areas going well beyond this property on both sides, I think, from the plan I saw. I just want to make sure we got the area covered. And the
Okay.
last thing was just if we're gonna, since the work has already started, even for this cleanup, are we putting silt protection stuff in place?
Well,
Especially
most of the material was just tossed onto the top of the ground.
Okay,
So the removal is not creating any kind of
Potential.
scouring of the dirt or anything. So, you know,
right, I'm thinking of the bottom of the, from the bottom of the retaining or the back of the retaining wall down the slope where you said it was going to be returned to a natural state by loosening up the soil. I'm thinking maybe in case there's some erosion. I don't, it doesn't look like it's a huge steep slope, but it's 3 or 4 feet over whatever length that is of drop, run and drop. Do we need
yeah,
silt
the area of soil, Mike, is about 18 inches from the wall toward the river.
Oh, okay. I got an impression it was a much bigger area.
Oh, no, it's
Sure.
a walking area.
Mm.
Okay, and then beyond that, it's natural to the right.
Correct.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, then that's fine. I thought it was a bigger area and that whole grade and the dotted line area of 3 or 4 contour lines was open area, and that we might have to deal with potential runoff until we put silt protection in. But that sounds fine then.
Well, perhaps what we can do, on the short leg of the L, I don't think there's going to be any problem with people trying to get around the fence there because there's a significant drop. Maybe what we can do is we can have Margaret show right on the corner of the garage 1 post, and then we can put a badge on that.
No?
Yeah, they'll come up with something.
Okay.
All right, that's all I have. Thanks.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
so I had thought, excuse me, in your comment to Mike's question, you said the existing retaining wall is only a couple of years old,
Mhm.
Yes.
and yet it was constructed within the 50-foot, possibly within the 25-foot without a permit?
That is correct.
Okay, and your recommendation is we let that slide?
Well, I think that what we do is, the purpose there is to prevent any kind of potential erosion from the backyard into the resource area. So they put in the wall and squared up the backyard. And what we're going to do is we're going to get additional cleanup that this property owner did not contribute to. There was quite a bit of brush and debris that's been there for many years. So I think that the advantage that we're seeing here is that now we have a permanent fixed boundary so that we don't have to worry about these kinds of incursions happening now or with subsequent property owners.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
one quick question for my own clarification. Your reference to a knee wall and the existing retaining wall in the plan, they're one and the same?
They are, yes.
Okay, thank you.
So, Margaret, you talked about plantings, proposed plantings in the rain garden.
Yes. And I do have a detail on the,
Okay.
on the,
On the plan.
typically, daylilies, low bush blueberries,
Okay.
high bush blueberries, they seem to do pretty well there. Hostas seem to do pretty well in rain
Yeah.
gardens.
All right.
Okay.
In the flood zone.
And the last question is that this area was really close to the flood zone. And we asked if you would,
Yes, yeah, that was actually pretty good. We did go back out there and we changed the, we got on the Mass GIS elevation. So yeah, according to the flood map here, you can see that the 100-year flood here is at 190 and here is at 191. So I'm just gonna say in our area here, we can call it at 190.5.
Okay,
And actually, yeah, it kind of makes sense because here's 190.5. Yeah, we're
okay,
just out of it. So
okay.
that worked out pretty well, actually.
Excellent,
Yeah,
excellent.
should have thought about that myself. So that was pretty good.
Good.
So I'll move that rain garden and get that out of it, and then we won't have anything in the floodplain.
There you
That'd be
go.
awesome.
Right.
So is there anyone from the general public who might have a question relative to the application?
I just have one more comment.
Go ahead.
Margaret, I just wanted to ask, so stabilizing the grading behind the garage, was that just be seeding?
Right now I've just called, yeah, loam and seed,
Loam and seed?
loam and seed. I'll spell that out on the next plan.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Well, if there were no further questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to continue this.
April 26th. April 26th. April?
To the evening of April 26th at 8.
Okay.
And
moved.
that will give you enough time, Margaret?
That's 2 weeks, right?
Yes?
It should,
Okay,
it should. Thank you.
Wait, let's
All right.
take a vote.
so I heard Ariane and
I'll move again now that she is confirmed. I just get so excited. Sorry.
Brian's just as excited. I think he wants to second it.
Second.
okay,
There you go.
no further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
6 and 8.
Opposed? Okay, by unanimous vote.
Thank you,
Thank you,
board.
Margaret. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Take care.
Okay, we will proceed with the next continuation. The Bellingham Conservation Commission will hold public hearings in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act, General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40 of the Bellingham Wetlands Protection Bylaw, on the notice of intent for the proposal to construct a 44 by 16-foot garage with an in-law apartment and to install a 1,000-gallon septic tank with 4-inch PVC pipe to connect to the existing distribution box located in the 100-foot buffer zone to bordering vegetated wetlands. The property is located at Assessors Map 9, 10 Cutler Street, Bellingham. Paul D. Simone, Colonial Engineering, All Street Medway, has submitted a filing on behalf of Jody Willis, 10 Cutler Street, Bellingham. The continuations will be held online via the Zoom option on Wednesday, April 12th at 7:30. Paul, I
Hey,
think
hey guys, can you hear me?
yes, we can.
Okay, well, I have to get an extension because they're still not decided what they want to do.
Okay. All right.
They want to move, I have a meeting with them in a couple of days. They want to move it closer to the property line and closer to the street a little bit. So I'm in the process of meeting with her and her architect. I think it's tomorrow or the next day. Hopefully they'll come to some decision.
Right.
Can be
Okay.
done.
And you know, we're not sure what's going to be required of zoning. So
Well,
know-
moving it close to the property line, I went in and talked to Tim, and he says they probably won't give it to him because you don't need to be close to the property line. I mean, it's good for you guys because it's further away, but you know, I don't think the zoning was going to give it to her. But you know, I can only draw what they want and go from there.
and then go from there. Okay. So all right, not much activity there. The administrator and I went out and did review the resource area line.
It
It-
was a while ago.
Oh, did we have it at our last hearing?
Yeah, but from
okay.
what I understand, have you been out there, Paul? Because I understand that the hut has been removed.
Oh, that I haven't seen. I went out before the last meeting and it hadn't been removed.
That's
That's what we
correct.
saw.
Yeah, that's what we saw. So I haven't been out there since. So we haven't been out there recently.
Well, I was out there the day before the last meeting that I had to get an extension for, and it was not removed, and the tires were still there. There was
Right,
that. It didn't look like anything was really cleaned up as far as I saw.
right. Okay,
Well, I'll go back out again tomorrow and give it a quick look. I mean, I keep telling her to get that thing out of there.
Okay. Well, you'll be meeting with them so that they can determine what they want to do. And once we find out what their plan is, then you can revise the plans as you need to, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, hope to God they come to a decision. That's for sure.
Okay.
I might go to church tomorrow. That might help.
All right. That being the case, at the applicant's request, I'll entertain a motion to continue the hearing for 10 Cutler Street to the evening of May 10th at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
So moved.
Yeah,
A second.
Noel. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
I heard everybody. That's a unanimous vote. Okay.
All right. Thanks,
Funny-
guys. Have a good,
funny, those-
have a
those
good
two-
weekend.
Good luck, Paul.
Those two properties are pretty close to each other as the crow flies.
yeah, they are,
Yes.
they are.
Yep. There's no doubt about it. Okay. The Bellingham Conservation Commission will hold continuations of public hearings in accordance with the Wetlands Protection Act, General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and the Bellingham Wetlands Protection Bylaw on the abbreviated notice of resource area delineation with the confirmation of 1,050 linear feet of delineated bordering vegetated wetland and 555 linear feet of delineated mean high annual water of perennial stream located at Assessors Map 37 Parcel 6A, 306 Maple Street, Bellingham. Mark Allen, Allen Engineering Associates, Hartford Avenue, Hopedale, has submitted the filing on behalf of Andrew Sacker, Worcester Road, Framingham, Mass. The continuations will be held online via the Zoom option on Wednesday, April 12th at 7:35.
And Jonathan is here.
Jonathan's here. Okay.
Hi, how are you guys?
Hello, Jonathan.
I'm good. So before we get to what you're going to do, I'm going to run a recap, and I'm going to note that Steve is a direct property abutter, and if this were a normal hearing, he would have to recuse himself from consideration of voting on the permit. However, he can't vote on the permit because he hasn't attended the requisite hearings. So he can certainly sit in and see what we're doing. For the record, members of the commission attended the site inspection. We spent about an hour and a half in the field reviewing the wetland line. It was a fairly complicated resource area delineation. We spent a lot of time evaluating soils and vegetation. And in the end, we found that the delineation was accurate. And in fact, many of the flags that were currently hung in the field were at the same or very close locations to delineation that had occurred 5 or 6 years ago. So that gave us a high degree of comfort as well. The only thing that we did add, being unsure in the field where the property line was, the delineator didn't quite finish the delineation to the edge of the property line. And that area was done in the field with agreement from the commission.
Excuse me. Yeah. Can he put up that so that we can see it?
So that's the recap of what happened in the field. And we know that Jonathan has revised the plans to reflect that change. And we'll ask Noel to let him share his screen and he can show us that area. That walk was attended by Brian, Noel, myself, the administrator, and Mike. So we had good attendance there.
Yeah. So after our little site walk, I did have our survey team go out and GPS locate. The area we're talking about is actually the northern part of the property here. Just how the flagging was done, we had to kind of backtrack, so we labeled them 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and it's in this area right here. They're hung by red flags, and that was done by also Goddard, with the commission also out there at the same time.
Yep. Normally we don't participate actively in a delineation. However, noting that we were close to the property line, and the delineator was unsure where that line actually was. To expedite the process, reviewing 4 flags as they were being hung was not an issue. So we felt it was entirely appropriate. So that is the wetland line. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. I will entertain a motion to close the hearing and issue the order of resource area delineation.
So moved.
Brian,
Second.
Michael, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. That's a unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Does the order go to you, Jonathan? Or does it go to Goddard?
You can send the order to me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Then it shall be done.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Good.
So we have a couple of things that we need to get to. The first thing is upcoming site walks. Want to remind everybody, Saturday, we're back out to Railroad Street for Snett Estates. For those of you who attended, Neil, Mike, and Brian, you'll recall that was, Brian wasn't there.
No.
Okay, you're right. Neil and Mike. It was challenging. And we had suggested that potentially we would be sending the wetland delineation out for peer review. And the applicant's representative suggested that he direct their professional wetland scientist to re-flag areas that we had in question and to call them resource areas. So we'll see what kind of job they did. That's for this Saturday at 8:30.
AM, yeah.
AM.
Mhm.
So I don't know.
I know it's
Steve-
staying late. I know it's staying late later, Ann, but
Yeah, I know. Push. I don't know if Steve is available for that.
I am. What is the address?
Okay, well, it won't show up in your GPS.
Where are we meeting at High Ridge side?
We can meet on Lake Street, the northern entrance to High Ridge Estates. There's a road there, High Ridge Road. That's where we parked last time. Are you familiar with that?
I can find it.
Okay. So
8:30 this Saturday morning.
Yes.
correct. We may want to wear light colored
Mm,
clothing at the last sidewalk. The wetland delineator pulled about 30 deer ticks off of them. So they're out there.
Yeah.
I expect that it's going to be even worse Saturday. So maybe spraying and light colored clothing, keep those ticks off us. Then the following.
Napalm.
Yeah, right.
There you go. Boy, I wish.
That's some of that permethrin you recommended, Neil. We'll see how well it works.
There you go.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
So the following Saturday, April 22nd, we're back out on the Hartford Avenue warehouse. And as usual, we can anticipate a couple hours there. This time we'll be able to evaluate actual vernal pool activity. I fully expect the creatures to be out and moving around. We'll also do that on Saturday. There's lots of vernal pool action. This is the height of the season. So we'll be taking a look at that. And if anyone has any extra time on Saturday, it's the Earth Day cleanup for the town. But I suspect after what we're going to be doing in the field, we'll be all in. We also have 2 sets of minutes to accept. The minutes of February 8th and February 22nd. We'll wait for Mike to make his comments.
Okay, I forwarded them on to Ann. There were just a couple little typos and one question. So hold on one second. Let me call them up. It won't take about a second, I think here. Okay, so the 8th. Page, hang on, I'm scrolling down. Page 3 of 7.
Yep.
Second to last paragraph, sentences. As of now, the commission is trying to develop a schedule to get some of the site off the list. I just thought it might be nice to be a little more.
Get some of the site off the list.
We were talking about getting some of the Hartford, Hartford, the behind Home Depot's, the warehouse, some of the various things, since we've been out there multiple times, getting some of the, I think what was intended was some of the site issues or some of the site items that we want to see off of a
I
list.
think you're right.
I just thought somehow you want to maybe add, rephrase, tweak
Site
it a little bit.
issues?
Site issues.
Site issues, okay,
Yeah, maybe
That makes sense.
Okay.
I'll take care of that,
That
yeah.
was all on that one, and then hang on one quick sec. So it's the 22nd. There's a couple of typos. 22nd, page 1 of 3. Last paragraph, 3rd line up, far right side says this site would be receiving drainage. Maybe just want to take one of the thises off.
Oh, 2 thises.
Oh,
This way and that way, this and that, whatever. But this,
We want to make sure everyone understands this.
yes,
I gotta
This-
say,
this is
our,
even more clear.
I gotta say, Tina did a pretty darn good job on these then.
She did. I was very, thank you, Tina. Once again, I'm always appreciative. Page 2 of 3, the 3rd paragraph, we're talking about the 4055 Hartford Ave, and we were talking about the drainage along the north side of the property where by the abutters. It says, therefore, this is not a linear from the street to the rear of the property. I'm not sure. I think if you just take off A, this is not linear.
Wait a minute, Mike, I don't know where you are.
Sorry,
Page 2?
page 2, 3rd paragraph down.
Yep.
Last sentence. Therefore, this is not a linear from the street to the rear of the property. There's a dip in the head wall, which is why center point has been designed this way. This is not a linear. I think this is not linear from the street, or this is not a line from the street, or
I think this is.
Not a linear is what threw me. I mean, linear, I understand, but not a linear. I'm not sure what was intended there.
It's I think this is not linear. The A should
Take
be,
the A out. Okay.
yeah.
This
yeah.
is not linear from
Right.
the street.
All
Okay.
right, okay. And then the last thing, I think, last thing was page 2 of 3, still a little further down. First paragraph of the 51 Carolina Drive, the
Yep.
third line. The area was placed possibly before tis owner. I think just want an H in there for this owner.
The area, where is it?
Third line, the area that was
Oh, yeah.
placed possibly before this owner. There's some current fill.
The area that was placed possibly before, oh. I
There
got
is some current fill as well as historic fill in the area that was possibly placed. Sorry, placed possibly before tis owner. I just think it should be this owner. That's all. So it's
Yep,
just an
no,
H.
no, that's good. Yep.
Thank you, Tina. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Tina, I will take care of those and get those out. Good. All right. so
Okay,
Just accept it.
a couple of quick, all right, so I'll have I'll entertain a motion to accept as amended the minute meetings for February 8th and February 22nd.
So moved.
Neil,
Second.
Marianne, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Okay. I do listen. All right, that's a unanimous vote. All right, a couple of quick updates. The first update is we distributed the order of conditions for Prospect Hill Estates to the commission. An enormous amount of work went into that, considering it was a denial under both the Wetlands Protection Act and under the local bylaw. Lou has appealed to DEP requesting a superseding order of conditions. So right now, the ball is in DEP's court, and they will decide on the merits of his appeal.
Mhm.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
since it's being appealed, will DEP look at that before the court has ruled on the local?
that's an interesting question.
I've heard through the grapevine that they are reluctant if there's an appeal on a local to get involved before the court rules.
That's true, but and here's what happens. DEP has its time frame to act in the event that we don't know if he's appealed under the local or not.
He has 60 days.
He has 60 days to appeal under the local. So the DEP may be able to give him an idea about where they're coming from before then. So as far as I know right now, it's going to be handled by DEP. If he does appeal under the local, there's strategies that town council will have to employ to make sure that, you know, everything is handled in accordance with all the rules.
We have to arrange permits.
And then the second thing is Lakeview Estates. Lakeview Estates is coming before the town to request partial acceptance of their subdivision, stormwater utilities, roadways
Phase 1.
in phase 1. So it's a partial town acceptance, and Ann has been out a half a dozen times looking at the stormwater management structures. They're not stabilized. There are variations from the plans of record. And further, we've discovered that this whole project was supposed to be private, and maintenance was supposed to be performed by a homeowners association. And attorneys for the applicant have suggested that the owner doesn't want to maintain it because it's too costly, so they're petitioning the town to do it. So, that might be coming up at our annual town
It
meeting.
is, it is.
And-
It's on the one.
And the commission, if you agree, will speak to the fact that that's not what the permit said. It's nowhere near ready to be accepted. And we have a lot of issues with rain gardens that aren't properly constructed or that haven't been maintained. And we have numerous individual lots that don't have certificates of compliance. So the administrator has been working diligently with the applicant to try to identify these. And I think
Mm. Yeah, so we have these are on hold. These are issues.
are these all?
These are
part-
outstanding, so
are
we-
these part of this?
Yeah.
So on the second page of the agenda.
Oh, no, they're not.
Oh, they're not.
No.
Okay, so we've issued 3 that we found to be acceptable. We have 5 that need additional work, and they have requested certificates of compliance for 5 more. So when we have an opportunity, the administrator and I will try to find the time to go out during the day and review those. Okay. Now, I don't know what Steve's availability is. I don't know if you're working from home,
I'm in Easton all day.
so that's that.
That's that.
That answers that question. So, okay. Now we have to arrange for a time to sign the order of resource area delineation. How many people are going to be available on Saturday?
I am available.
Okay, but you can't sign it,
No.
unfortunately.
Okay, Mike.
I will not be available.
All right, Neil,
Man.
Mike,
I won't be around.
so we'll need a couple of signatures this week.
Brian, we don't know.
Brian,
I could come by tomorrow during lunch.
Okay.
You're not gonna be there.
No, not gonna be there tomorrow.
Oh,
I'm not sure about Saturday, but I could definitely try to make arrangements for Friday.
Okay,
Friday would work.
If I can't make it Friday, I can come by and at least sign on Saturday.
all right.
Okay.
We'll be in touch. All right,
Okay.
that would be great. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
Okay,
All right,
that's good.
so I think that's probably all that we have. That's all, folks.
Say, I have been here the whole time, but I'm watching it on my husband's laptop instead of mine, and I couldn't find how to unmute.
Okay. Well, maybe you can tell me how to flip my camera to horizontal.
Oh, Lord, it's been 57 minutes. I couldn't find out how to unmute.
I think when this is done, I'm gonna try to figure that out.
Can't you just take the camera and turn it 90 degrees?
Well, that's what we did, but now what happens is our field of vision is narrowed.
So the camera is on its side so that we're right side up. This just happened.
I had an upgrade. That's why we were a little late getting on. We had a Zoom upgrade, and imagine my surprise when I was upside down. I'm like, wow, that's great. Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to close, adjourn the hearing, the meeting.
Second.
Stephen.
Well,
I'll third it.
you can be first and our hand can be second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Bye.
Mr. Chair, do you and Ann have a couple minutes when others have departed?
Certainly
Of
do.
course, of
Yep.
course.
Yeah,
See
we
you.
do.
Okay.
Thanks to all of you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Till
you.
Saturday.
I just wanted to remind you that I'm going out of the country starting Friday. So
You have a current passport.
Bon
Yeah.
voyage.
Don't get in trouble over there. We don't want to.
Oh, you'll be
about you in
on
the news,
Friday. No,
wherever you are.
I'll try not.
You're going to the Azores.
Yep.
How
Nice.
exciting. Have a wonderful trip, Ariane.
Yeah,
you.
enjoy.
Drink some nice Portuguese wine.
Oh, I will.
Oh, good. I like Portuguese wine. Okay, I'm going to
All right. Have a good night.
Good
right.
night.